Hello everyone and welcome to another new review, and this one going to be on the Flash issue number 0. So I know a lot of people are getting right now into comics and they want to know more about the characters or more about what they should read. And from my side, I'm a big fan of the Flash and I really wanted to know everything about him. I wanted to read all the issues starting from issue number 0 until the current one right now. So this issue starts up with them showing us the origins of Barry Allen, how he became the Flash with the accident of the electric shock, the way his power came to him. And later on, we see some flashbacks to his childhood, where he was with his parents, with his mother, before she got killed apparently by his father, or that's what they thought. It's not official yet. Barry had this disappointment, but he never believed that his dad ever did that, to his mother. He always investigated, and he dedicated his life to investigate on the real killer because he doesn't believe that his father did it. Later on, we see him getting his powers and realizing that he got a speed force power. Later on, he wanted to do something with this power, so he started to design some kind of costume that, fits him and suits him until he got the perfect costume and he started to do the superhero job. Later on we see him with his father in a call, and he would be like, I already forgot about everything, I'm gonna start all over again and some other stuff. And in the end of the issue, we see Barry Allen doing his job, saving his city, saving the people who needs him, and that's how he became the Flash. And that's it pretty much for issue number 0. Hello everyone and welcome to another new review, and this one gonna be on the Flash issue number 1. This issue starts up with Barry and Patty on a kind of a date, and they were checking out some monorails, and they were in that kind of a party. Later on we see Dr. Elias appearing from nowhere and talking to Barry, and Barry appears to be one of his biggest fans. So later on, some kind of a gang disturbs the peace in that place, and they kind of steal the Dynamo recorder that was built up by Dr. Elias. Later on, we see the Flash trying to catching up with them, and he caught up with one of them, and he blew him all away to the window. Later on, when Barry got called on duty to check on the guy that was blew away by him earlier on, they find out that his name was Manuel, and he appears to be one of Barry's old friends. He used to be with him in the old days and stuff. Later on, Flash will be all in that place where he'll be blaming himself for killing Manuel. But people said, or they reached to a conclusion, that he wasn't killed by the Flash, he was killed by something else. Later on, we see Barry doing his investigation on the DNA, and we find out that the DNA was alerted, and it was changed in other meanings. So, and even the recorder should be, done to rewrite DNA. So all this is not making sense to him, and he want to investigate more of it until someone appears from nowhere, and it appears to be Manuel again, his friend. Even though we thought that he was dead, but later on he'll tell him, "No time to explain, just let's run." They'll start running until, Barry doesn't know what we are running from until he kind of accidentally trip himself to fall into the water and turn into the Flash so he could help his friend in a different way. But the moment he reached to his friend, he found himself facing multiple of copies of his friend Manuel. He was like, "Whoa, what's happening here?" There's something really big happening in this issue. They left us on a cliffhanger. I really like it. I liked issue number 1. I don't know where they're going with issue number 2, but I'm really looking forward to it to see how this happened. All these, you know, uh, people from where they came, and how he have multiple of himself. I don't know how it's happening, but that's pretty much, guys, for the Flash issue number 1. Hello everyone and welcome to another new review, and this one going to be on the Flash issue number 2. First of all, I want to say that this cover just talks about the whole story and what was this issue all about. Let's jump into the review. The Flash, picks up from where he found out the clones of his friend Manuel, and he started beating the shit out of them until one of them will be like, "Hey, stop, or we're gonna kill one of your friends," or I mean, like one of the friends of that guy who fell into the water, Barry. They thought he died, but well, he didn't. Um, so they had Iris under custody, and he asked the Flash to stand down, let us go, and we'll let Iris just to go. So of course he just stood down and he just let them go. Later on, he went to check on her, and there was no harm for her. So he thought, like, I need to be in different places at the same time so I could save more people and stuff. So he went to his friend, Dr. Elias. That's where he realized that he needs to experiment on himself and see what's wrong with his speed and can he go any faster. Later on, Dr. Elias and the Flash find out that the Flash is uh, more of more of his speed force is just focusing on his body while it's not focusing on his brain. So what the Flash needed to do is to think faster, and that's what he needed to do all the time. After a while, we see the Flash or Barry, getting all these movements and getting all these visions of or predicting, how could he save the day just like that. So his thinking started to work faster and faster by each day. So he already got um, hand on it on how to think faster and work his brain as well as his body together, so he could be in different places at the same time. Later on, we see the Flash actually. Talking about Manuel. When he used to be in the army, and one day he called him, and he asked for help. When the Flash asked, "Where are you?" so I could pick you up, he got kidnapped by some people, and later on we see Manuel under the custody of uh, his clones and a doctor called Guerrero, and that's where the clones were like, "You're the key to our problem, and we're gonna solve it." So when Guerrero pressed the button, everything went green and the lights went out, and that's where the airplane was falling down, and the Flash was like, "Oh hell, he gotta save the day again." So I don't know what's happening in issue number two. It was kind of really good. They showed us the progress of the Flash and his powers, and I think it was pretty good. Hello everyone and welcome to another new review, and this one gonna be on The Flash issue number 3. First of all, the cover is so good. It's so beautiful. I can't tell you how it's really good, it's done really beautiful. Anyway, this issue starts up with the Flash trying to save the airplane that we saw falling down in issue number 2. He vibrates the molecules he could stop the plane from falling down, and he saves the day as usual. Later on, we see a flashback for Manuel where he was in the military and where he lost his hand. So basically, Dr. Guerrero was there, and he basically did an experiment on him that could get him his hand back by some kind of a healing power, and he could become stronger. After that, we see Iris. The one who kidnapped her into the cell was called Leonardo, and he's one of the Rogues members, and he told her to tell to the Flash that they're coming back. So we're expecting the Rogues to be coming back so soon. Later on, we see each one uh, of the cops of the city are trying to save as much people as they could. The Flash even did the same thing. He tried to save as much people as they could because of the blackout that happened in Metro City. After that, we see Dr. Ilyes going to the desert and trying to find the source of what happened to the city and how the blackout happened. And of course, Alex just sold him out to this group of people, and I guess their name is the Mob, and well, they're taking him as a hostage or something. Later on, we see Patty and Barry. They're going to rescue Manuel. Actually, they were more like of looking for the doctors that were involved in the military experiments. So they saw Manuel and they saved him. But while they were escaping, uh, Barry couldn't make it out, and he just let Manuel, his friend, and Patty just get out from there. And he was left alone there with hundreds of these clones. So we saw him kind of predicting what's gonna happen, but there was this prediction where it reached to a point he got shot. So is the Flash dead? Did Barry Allen die? No one knows. That's what we're gonna know in next issue number 4. Hello everyone and welcome to another new review, and this one gonna be on the Flash issue number 4. Let me say it again. The cover is brilliant. It's just so good. It's just so great. The covers just keep getting better and better. Anyway, let's get this review. Uh, in this issue, we see Barry going into a flashback when when Manuel Dad's died. He went to the funeral, and Manuel wasn't really there, but he was looking, you know, he was just observing. So he went back to him and he was like, why didn't you join, and some other stuff. Later on, we see the clones talking to Dr. Elias about how Manuel used to be and who he used to be. After the death of his father, he just wanted to kill everyone who was related to that murder, and he found them. He killed each one of them until he got kind of captured, and they started torturing him. When they found out that he can heal again. Um, they just keep cutting and cutting, and they just kept cutting him into pieces until the clones started to regenerate from his discrete limbs. Imagine how horrible that could be. Anyway, later on we see Manuel and Patty out of the place that Barry got locked in, and he was just leaving until Patty was like, "Are you just gonna leave that friend of yours, the one who sacrificed his life for your safety?" So she just made some sense into his mind. When he went back to save Barry, he got caught by those mob rule, yeah, and he couldn't really save anyone, but he got captured instead. Later on, we see Barry waking up, and surprisingly, he wasn't dead. No, he started to explain how he dodged the bullet, and the way he dodged it was of his fast reaction. He just quickly. He just, it couldn't hit him. It just touched, the outer surface of his head, but it didn't really touch the brain or anything. So he's basically safe. So then on, he jumps off the window and he goes to, make sure that Patty and Manuel are all good. So this issue is pretty good, interesting. Issue number 4 is really good. We saw a lot of stuff. Dr. Elias is ready to help the clowns to, help them from dying each and every moment. So it's looking really good. I like this issue. And that's pretty much, guys. Hello everyone, and welcome to another new review. And this one gonna be on the Flash issue number 5, the continuation of this great story arc. So first of all, I want to say that the cover was really good as well as usual, actually. And let's kick it this review. This issue starts up with Victor Ilias going with the clones of Manuel and trying to help them pinpoint what is the flaw in the cloned DNA so he could fix it up with his generator. Later on, in Iron Heights prison, Iris was facing some kind of trouble with some great villains, but the Flash comes from nowhere and he saves the day as usual. Later on, we see the Flash going to rescue Manuel from whatever is happening to him right now because there was this green beam going from a building. So the Flash went through it, and he went through all the trouble to fight all these clones of Manuel just to help his friend. But later on we see that he didn't want no help, he just wanted to help his clones and get them back all to life and just stay alive. So later on Dr. Elias realized that he's dying, so the Flash starts up to he starts up a vortex to decrease the pressure of the generator, but it failed, and actually it killed all the clones except him, the original one, and Manuel actually was dead. So later on, after this whole big beam was running off, Patty thought that Barry almost died, but he showed up and other stuff happened. But the most important thing that I think it's really important that in the end of the issue we find out the speed force that the Flash has, it's kind of changing some stuff in the future. It's like taking stuff and then just pushing it and throwing it into other time, into the other dates and other stuff. So I'm pretty much looking forward to what's happening right now. I really like where's the story going. And the next issue can be called Captain Cold Strikes. I'm really looking forward to it. And welcome to another new review. And this one gonna be on the Flash issue number 6. As usual, I love the cover. Captain Cold trying to kill the Flash is something really cool, and I really like this cover. Anyway, let's kick this review and let's start it up. This review starts up with the Flash talking about Captain Cold and how he used to be before this day came. He used to be a good person. He didn't really have the intention of killing or anything. And of course, he had the gun power. He didn't really have the powers in his body, but he had the guns that could blow the cold or the ice from it. But everything changed. So later on, they show us actually a fight between Captain Cold and the Flash, and later on we see how this whole thing started. It was all about Barry and Betty going to visit, actually more like going to Central City. And the last night they show us that Dr. Elias was talking to the Flash about his costume, about everything actually he had, and about reducing the time, or more like reducing the percentage of the speed force that's being used. And the limitation was 80% and not more. Later on, the fight continues between Captain Cold and the Flash. They take us to another flashback where they show us the sister of Captain Cold. She's kind of dying. He really wants to help her, but the doctor says, I can't do nothing. The generators has been blown away by the empath blast that happened earlier by the Flash, or that's what they thought. So Captain Cold took it on himself, and he wanted to take revenge over the Flash for not, for blowing up the MPF. So later on, we see everything's going on the boat. Captain Cold is trying to kill the Flash, and they take us to another flashback um, where Iris will be with Patty and Barry. They'll be talking about what's happening, and about the evidence that they're searching for, and they'll be talking some stuff. I won't really talk much about it, but the important parts is where the Flash and Captain Cold keep fighting until the boat kind of starts to sink. And he was really worried about Patty. He thought that she was dead, and that's what everyone thought. So next issue gonna be really interesting. I'm really looking forward to it. I can't wait to see it. Issue number 7 gonna be interesting. It's gonna be a chilling sacrifice. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I'm pretty much like, hello everyone, and welcome to another new review. And this one gonna be on the Flash issue number 7. So this issue starts up with the Flash talking about Patty and how would he feel if he lost her, where he almost actually lost her until he saved her, before anything happened to her. But later on, we see that Iris is kind of getting down there into the wormhole, I guess so. Yeah. She kind of got into that wormhole, and then the Flash went to Captain Cold, and he was like blaming him for what happened to Iris until Captain Cold told him about his sister. And the Flash, felt bad about it, and he just wanted to apologize and help his sister by any means. So that's what was his plan. He went to Dr. Alice. There was this the treadmill, he called it. And if the Flash run through it, and he used kind of the force energy, it will be stored that energy into battery cells. So it's more like when he's running, he's gonna store all the energy into a battery cells, and so he could repower again the city and everything. And later on, we see that the moment he see the light, he gotta get out of there. That's what was his plan. But the Flash had other plans, where he went into the wormhole and he started to see some flashbacks, and well, he disappeared. Later on, we see another flashback to Africa. It's where the monkeys or the apes are talking. Later on, we see Captain Cold and his sister are in kind of that moment, and she got saved, but she didn't really like it. She told him, "You must let me die. Much better than this life and this misery you're putting me through." So later on, we see Patty going to director's sign, I guess his name, uh, and there was this moment where she broke down because she couldn't tell Barry that she loved him and more and more. So later on, we see the flashbacks, or more like memories of the Flash, of his mother, of college, of other stuff, until this guy appears from nowhere, and he'll be like, take me out with you, from this wormhole that you sent me through. And the next issue gonna be called Introducing Turbine and the Secret of the Speed Force. So I guess maybe this is the guy who's called Turbine. I'm not sure who is he, but I'm really looking forward to this issue. I'm gonna Hello everyone, and welcome to another new review, and this one gonna be on the Flash issue number 8. This is the ending of volume number 1. I'm really looking forward to it, and it's really looking good. I like the whole story that's been going on in issue number 8. So this issue starts up with them taking us to May 12th of 1944, and it's more like of an army, an aircraft army, and there something happened to one of the planes. It kind of got sucked up by the speed force that the Flash created, and finally we know the name of Turbine. I mean, his name is Highness, and he's kind of blaming the Flash for where is he right now, and he's kind of trying to get back to his time, to his home, and he needs the Flash help. So of course the Flash and Turbine go into some kind of a fight together, and later on Turbine starts explaining what's happening in the Speed Force, and he tells the Flash about everything that's happening, that the Speed Force show us the past, the future, and the present, and he knows all about him, and that's how he knew about Barry Allen. So of course there are a lot of stuff happened there. He starts to explain what is the Speed Force and how it is working in, and he's always the solution for it. Later on we see the policemen or the officers are some kind of funeral for the people who were lost, and and more and more. So later on, the Flash and Turbine will be in this kind of a speed force, and they'll be like, "Hey, we gotta find Iris and the other three people that fell into the speed force right now. We need to find them." But the Flash refused, or more like Turbine refused, and he wanted him to take him first to 1944. But the Flash couldn't really do it, so he just took him with him to this this. What they call this door actually of the speed force, but they went into a time that they shouldn't be fell, and they fell into a time where the Grodd, the king Grodd, yeah, he's kind of fighting his father for the kingdom and to be the king of the gorilla city, and yeah, he did it. He killed his father, and that's where the issue stops by the Flash hitting the ground in Gorilla City. And the next issue gonna be really interesting because it's gonna be called Trapped on Gorilla City. I guess the Flash gonna be on the Gorilla City. He's gonna be into the King Grodd and more. So I'm really looking forward to issue number 9. Issue number 8 has been a blast. The first volume has been a blast. I really enjoyed this arc. Let me know, guys, what did you think of this issue? Write down below. Comment, like, share, and see you guys around. Take care.